Hi, Honey here, back to do a 6-month roundup of how my transition's been going on HRT, and also to give you a few details on some other bits and bobs that have been happening with my transition, as well as a story about something that recently happened to me. I've got quite a list to get through, so I'll start with the changes I've noticed, both good and bad. Just a little advisory, I will be going into graphic detail later on about function of certain bits and bobs and how that has changed since I started my HRT. So if that's something you don't want to hear about, then I suggest you tune out before we get there. One of the easiest ways to tell how we're changing is the responses we get from other people, and in the last few months, or this month I should say, I've had a couple of things said to me in incidents which is good, things that people have noticed that have changed about me. So I'm happy with the responses that I've been getting, and I'll just go for a few of them. One of my girlfriends has turned around and recently said that I was developing girl bum, which is quite nice to hear, and basically, yeah, I have started to notice a change in my bum and my waist and my hips and things. So the fat redistribution that I've mentioned before is starting to work. Now, I can't say that I've actually lost any fat from, what should we say, the areas where it was sitting before, but I've put more on in girlier places. So obviously, if I want to lose the weight in the more masculine areas, then I need to lose weight in general and hope that the weight stays on in the girlier areas. As I said, weight's definitely been moving around, and I've also gained weight, I believe. Now, I don't know if that's just the HRT, because I've spoken with many people, and obviously cisgender women that have been on HRT themselves, and they all say they gain weight, which I have done, but it also could be, diet and exercise, or a lack of, because I've been very busy at work recently in the last couple of months, and my exercise regime hasn't been quite as intense as it once was. So I'm unsure as to which is causing, or perhaps it's a knock-on effect of both. But one of the first skirts that I got myself last year after coming out, I went to put it on the other day, and there was a good 2-inch gap at the top where it was just not going to zip up anymore. So again, that could just be the fats redistributed to my waist and hips, so that just no longer fits anymore, or it could just be, I've put on a few pounds. But either way, there's definitely shape changes happening. One of the things I've noticed this month is my chest has stopped hurting. I've been on the same dose of patches and blockers for quite a few months now, best part of 3 months. I'm coming to the end of this prescription, and I need to get my blood work redone in February, probably an increase in strength, but for now at least my chest has stopped hurting, while the difference between now and 6 months ago is quite nice. I can't say that it's where I want it to be yet, obviously, but it's still only 6 months into a process that's like 18 to 24 months of to be able to bra, and now at work all the time to help, a sports bra to help try and hide things, and then when I'm not at work, and like today, I just wear a normal bra or a push-up bra. And I had a comment off of one of my followers on my other social media account that she was wondering if I was wearing cutlets, basically, from when I went away in November to the Christmas fair that I did a video about last month. And the answer is no, I wasn't. So the pictures in that is me just wearing a single push-up bra, and as I say, I'm happy with the progress so far, and long may it continue. Carrying on with the theme of things that people have noticed, moving over to the face area, I hit my sister up on Skype a couple of weeks ago, and during that she said that my face had really rounded out. My sister lives a significant distance away, and therefore we don't see each other that often, so it's probably been a couple of months since she's seen me face to face. Sometimes we talk on the phone, but it's been a while since she's seen me face to face, so she's obviously noticed a change there. I was sat in a coffee shop literally a couple of days ago, Monday I believe, and it's Wednesday when I'm recording this, and a former colleague of mine from a few years ago walked past the coffee shop and stopped, and I could see him staring. Looked for a bit and he was going to move on, and in the end I waved, and he obviously realised that no, he had made the correct connection, and it was who he remembered. He said, "I didn't recognise you," and ... and you know, it's just nice to hear. Hair growth this month, I can't say there's been any significant change from when I said about last month, other than Amber, the girl that does my face laser treatment, last month was like, you know, surprised how much my original hair grown back in. As I said last month, I now wear a wig cap under this to keep it flat so that I can keep my wig on without it looking all lumpy and bumpy and daft. So, you know, that there is improvement there, a dramatic improvement from 6 months ago. I mean, I really did think my hair was a lost cause 6 months ago, and now I'm at the stage where I've stopped cutting it, and I'm going to give it a good go and see if one day I can actually do something with it. It's still always going to be a bit thin at the crown at the back here, and I'll probably just have to, as I've probably said in the previous videos, wear a hair extension piece or something, you know, put it in above here so that it can come down and cover the weak point. But compared to wearing a full wig, I mean, obviously if I can get my hair quality to where I want it, it'll be an absolute you know, miracle basically, so I'll be more than happy if that continues. Speaking about face laser, I can confirm that I've had 1 patch test and 12 full sessions since January last year, which is when I started the laser hair removal treatment. Again, my feelings about it are a mixed bag. Whether or not the hormones have helped out in the last 6 months, I don't know. But as for the actual face laser treatment itself, I've been told before it can take 20 odd sessions, and that's fine. I'll continue with it for a bit longer, but it is such slow going, and I still have to shave every day if I want it to look any good, you know. And I hear all these stories from other girls like, oh yeah, I shave like once every 2 days or whatever, and you know, oh, I barely have to do anything, I pluck the odd hair that appears. Well, I don't know when that happens, but it certainly hasn't happened to me yet. And as my hair is one of my biggest dysphoria points, or the hair on my head and the hair on my body just caused me so much anxiety that I really would like to see some proper improvement in that area. Every time I go to see Amber, she's a lovely girl and everything, but she always says, so how many days growth is this? Like I'm gonna magically say, oh, this is like 2-3 days growth. It's always the same. I always stop shaving the midnight before the day I have to go, so it gets a full just over 24 hours growth basically every time, and I've done that for the past year. And when I saw her again this time, I said, is this long enough? Because obviously it needs something to work with, which is why you have to let it grow for a day before she can treat it. But the thing is, it is just a day's growth every time, and I would just really like to be able to wake up and put my face on without having to shave. It'd just be such a nice novelty, and I'm hoping it eventually occurs. I do tend to still use an electric razor for my legs, and my bum basically. It beats trying to run a wet shave razor, you know, around areas which are a bit sensitive to be running a blade near. For the most part, the electric razor does a good enough job for day to day. If I'm going somewhere, of course, I'll wet shave my legs as much as possible. Also, the electric razor is good just for touch-up jobs when I get home or whatever in the evening after work. I'll quite often, you know, go over my face quickly just to make sure I can't feel anything, and just can spend a bit of time being comfortable in the evening after work. So that's how I get round things basically still at the moment. If anything changes in the next 6 months, I'll let you know. But for now, that's most of the changes I've seen in the last 6 months, and a lot of these things that I mentioned, like the responses from certain people, have all been in the last month. Like the guy I ran into in the shop recently, my sister was probably last month, and my girlfriend, or one of my girlfriends saying about my girly bum was, you know, again, like literally last weekend. So a lot of this stuff has recently cropped up. I'd say for the first 3 months there was very little change apart from my chest area, but now, you know, fast forward another 3 months and it's starting to have real knock-on effects and lasting effects. Speaking of lasting effects, I said way back when about one of the side effects of this would or could be loss of function. Now this is the part of the video that I said would be detailed about how certain things are working. So if you're squeamish about such things, or you know, you're of an age where you probably shouldn't be listening to this sort of thing, then gladly scroll on for about a minute, and I'll just quickly run through this. Basically, nowadays, as far as erections and things like that go, I don't wake up with erections anymore. I said that a few videos back, but certainly now as well, I notice in order to get an erection, I still can, but in order to get an erection, it requires direct stimulation, you know, whatever that may be, but it requires direct stimulation. Looking at some nice pictures, shall we say, or you know, sitting there and having a couple of dirty thoughts to myself would previously have been enough to, you know, trigger a response. That doesn't happen anymore. Also, when I do follow things through and eventually orgasm, the response now from that as well has changed. It doesn't feel the same, and it's not that it's any less enjoyable, it's just it's a different sensation. And also at this point I would assume that the side effect of being sterile has kicked in, because I basically don't produce any fluids anymore when I ejaculate. It's, you know, literally not much at all, certainly not enough to produce offspring. So that has that side effect has arisen. I'm okay for the most part with it. I never wanted kids. One of the things I want to cover is my expectations. Basically, I've been transitioning for roughly a year in terms of since the moment I decided that I was going to go through with it, which was January last year, when I started the face laser stuff, and to where I've gotten now. So in that year, or the last 6 months, I suppose, as this is a roundup of that. A lot has happened, and my expectations in some areas have been surpassed and not in others. I'm happy to be on HRT, that's a big plus. I did think that maybe by now I might actually have gone public at work and be living full time, and that might be in the swing. I do worry that that my transition's stalled a bit there. It is mostly just fear of being somehow squeezed out the company that's preventing me from doing that, because if I lose the job, I lose the transition. Now I can't say that's going to happen for sure, but at the same time it's such a risk that it keeps holding me back, and eventually it has to happen. I'm kind of just waiting for a push, either something to out me, in which case, you know, it's all guns blazing and away I go, or for my gender clinic to send through a first appointment. They confirmed they had received my reference back in October, I think it was September, October, and the waiting list is quite a lengthy one. If I wait for that, then I could still be waiting some significant time before I make the jump. So I kind of keep looking at myself and saying to myself that I'm holding myself up in that department of going full time. I've either got to push myself to do it or be pushed, and it's difficult. It's definitely difficult. I'm sort of enjoying the best of both worlds a bit at the moment, in the sense that the people I care about know who I am, and I've got friends that I've made in the last couple of years as myself, and I do have a lot of freedom and a lot in place, and at the same time, when I need to, I can still fly under the radar and not have to get a face full of crap. Another area I would have liked to have made more progress would have been with my voice. I still can't find a voice coach or anyone that I feel can provide me with what I want. It's one of the reasons why I've decided to go to the gender clinic, and why I've been sort of heading in that direction and getting them involved, or trying to, is because I do feel like I'm bashing my head against a wall trying to find a voice coach. It's just a complete nonsense out there, to be honest. There's any Tom, Dick and Harry can call themselves a voice coach, without any experience. There's no official qualification either, and I don't really want to waste a fortune on all these random people in the hopes that I come across one. I'd rather just be told, oh yeah, this person's good, go see them, or, you know, here's an approved person, we've used them before, if it's like through the NHS or whatever, or, you know, somebody who lives locally, a trained person who lives locally is like, oh yeah, I know a voice coach that's done X, Y and Z. You know, that's what I'd like, but it hasn't happened. I need to find one. Areas that I have impressed myself with is I suppose in a way literally how comfortable I am and the amount of time I do spend in public. Literally at this point the only place where I don't spend my time as myself like this is at work. And yes, that is a heck of a lot of time, because obviously I work most days of the week, so for the most part, no, I'm not made up like I am now. But that said, I still do a heck of a lot, and I don't try and hide anything. I go out regularly from the house when it's a day off as myself. I go to Wales for trips and mini breaks. I went to a Christmas market. Last week I was at a housewarming party. The week before that I tried to go to a transgender support group. That didn't exactly go to plan. That'll be my next topic. But you know, I go out. I went round a friend's house instead on that same day, after having been in the town centre for a while. So I do a heck of a lot, and I'm very comfortable too. As a matter of fact, it's so nice to be able to just be out in the world as myself, as I want to be. So I am happy with my progress there. Other things, like I say, that I was happy with is definitely, I think my makeup has come on a lot in the last year. I mean, previous to transitioning, I had been dressing for many years, and that involved doing my makeup occasionally. But in the last year or so, I feel like I've really taken on some skills and learned a few things that are good. I hope to continue to improve. I mean, today is the first time I've done a cut crease. It probably doesn't show up too well on camera at the moment, but you know, I'm still trying new things. I'm still trying more advanced techniques and things all the time, and you know, practice makes perfect. So at this point, I'd like to get speed as well as technique, because it takes so long to get ready still at the moment, and you know, I have to know where I'm going and what I'm doing well in advance. I can't just go, oh, I'd like to do such and such, and go, yeah, I'll be ready in an hour. No chance, absolutely no chance. So I do need to develop speed as well as technique, and you know, obviously my makeup's still not perfect, so there's always room for improvement, and I will hopefully continue to do so. I'm really happy. Another thing that I'm happy I started doing was the vlogging, and that it's been good. It gives me a record of where I'm going, and hopefully it's helping somebody else out there, whoever's watching, when they come across these, to understand a bit about what's coming up for themselves, or you know, what it's like, and hopefully there's some useful information in here somewhere for other people. Finally, coming to the end of things now, just want to relay a story to you about what happened last week. Last Wednesday, I think it was, or maybe the Wednesday before, I recorded a video which obviously hasn't gone up because there was absolutely no need for it. I tried to go to a transgender support group, which unfortunately doesn't appear to be there anymore, so it completely backfired on me in the end, and it wasn't the best situation that I found myself in, really. I'd initially planned to go with 2 other people. Now, in a way, it's good that they backed out at the last minute, because it meant I didn't have to have egg on my face when I took them to somewhere that doesn't exist anymore. But at the same time, it did leave me in the middle of a town that I didn't really know too well, and with no one else around. You know, at like 7-8 o'clock in the evening, when it's dark and you know, busy, and it's not the best situation to find yourself in. I tried both the locations that I had for the group, and I have since found out from somebody else that yes, the group no longer exists. There is still one on at a local university. However, that only runs during term time, which, this being Christmas now, means that there is no term at the moment, so that one's not on either at the moment. So sorely lacking support group, and I mostly just want to go to support group because I've got questions. I had done a video, as I say, where I had a list of questions I wanted to ask, hopefully people with more experience, and one, so I can relay it to you, and two, so that I can find out the questions to things I want to know, like, how did their transition at work go? How smooth was it for them? How difficult has it been for them to change their documents? How everything that I cover in these videos, basically, but just somebody else's experience of it. And also, again, if I go to a support group, one of the major things I was hoping for is that I'll run into somebody who's just like, oh yeah, you want to try my voice coach? Save me a lot of trouble trying to sort through all the noise, as I said before. So that's one of the major things I was hoping for, but the group doesn't exist. And as I say, I found myself in an odd town wandering around and looking for a place that didn't exist anymore, and on my own. It was uncomfortable. And finally, it is the Christmas holiday and New Year's time. It's really nice to actually have completed 6 months at this time of year, and it was this time 6 months ago that I started, so it's just so good to be here now. I've really enjoyed making all these vlogs and videos, and to whoever is watching, have a great holiday if you celebrate it, and a happy new year. Mwah.